Good morning. I'm excited to be here among some of the world's great leaders in AR and VR. Over the next 2 days, we're all going to be exposed to some fascinating discussions that cover both consumer AR and VR and enterprise AR and VR. This morning, I want to focus on enterprise, and more specifically, the massive gap that we are facing with the skilled workforce. This is a problem that is much bigger than I think most people realize. So we're also going to talk about how AR is already solving for this massive problem. We're going to go into some of the details on the challenges that companies are facing to scale beyond pilot, to scale at a global level. And then finally, we're going to wrap up by talking about how Lenovo and our new ThinkReality brand is designed to help solve for scalability in the enterprise space. So I want to start off with an interesting and surprising fact. 10,000 baby boomers will reach retirement age every single day for the next 19 years. Now, for those of you doing the math, that's about 69 million people that are reaching retirement age over the next 19 years. The problem is that the next generation of the workforce, the millennials, is much smaller than this. And not only are they much smaller, more than any other generation, they are moving into the knowledge worker space. So basically the office worker. And when I reference the skilled workforce, I'm talking about the industrial workforce in the manufacturing facilities, in the warehouses. So this problem is quite big, and if we focus in just on the manufacturing industry itself, next year alone, we're facing a deficit of 2 million workers. That is an unrealized output of $188 billion. And as you can see, over the next 10 years, this problem gets much worse. It grows in 2030 to 7.9 million workers with an unrealized economic output of over 600 billion. That's big, really big. Governments around the world, major corporations all over the world are trying to solve this problem. It's going to take a lot more than augmented reality, but augmented reality has a very big part of this. Now, just in Germany alone, I should point out that in 2030, we're looking at $79 billion in unrealized economic output. So the problem is real. Now, if we look at how companies are facing this issue right now, 50% of companies are already saying that they're experiencing a skilled workforce shortage. If we look at the field service organizations, 70% are expected to face knowledge loss over the next 5 to 10 years. If we look at this new generational workforce, the millennials, just in a few years, 75% of the workforce will be millennials. And when they look at technology, it's highly important in where they choose to take a job. 60% are saying that it's highly important in where they decide to go. So, every major corporation has to be focused on this if they have a skilled workforce. But I wanted to point out one company that's doing really well in this space is Honeywell. They're working really hard to solve this problem, and I decided to call them out as one of the examples because they were recently featured in a Forbes article, and they went quite in depth on the topic. Their connected plant program director, Yusuf Mastari, actually was quoted saying, "The problem is the leakage of knowledge. As people leave, they take their knowledge with them, and until now, there hasn't really been an effective way to keep that knowledge within the plant or the company." So they took it a step further. They really studied this, and they looked at their traditional passive-based learning programs. And over the course of 3 months, knowledge retention was about 20 to 30%. They then implemented an augmented reality active on-the-job training program where both the trainer and the trainee were using augmented reality. The results were quite staggering. In 3 months, the knowledge retention jumped to 80%. So that's a perfect example, one of many that are out there, of how AR is already solving for this knowledge gap in the skilled workforce environment. But if we take that one step further and look at some of the ROI metrics beyond just the upskilling of the workforce and how it's being productive in the workforce, the warehouse environment, we're seeing average numbers of 15 to 35% of productivity gains. we're seeing in manufacturing, error rates are dropping to near zero by implementing workflow and compliance mechanisms in a hands-free environment. And then the field service industry, 30 to 40% decrease in service resolution time, primarily driven by remote expert types of solutions. So diving a little bit deeper into where Lenovo sees these commercial applications being promising. In AR, you're looking at product assembly, equipment maintenance, real-time expert support, and quality assurance. In VR, we're seeing a lot of strong use cases in engineering, in training across many different verticals, and design collaboration. So some of these verticals that we're really seeing a lot of promise include industrial settings like manufacturing and assembly, maintenance, logistics, even healthcare, the AEC market, and definitely the oil, gas, and utility industry. So now that we have, talked about some of these benefits, they're obvious, they're clear, but we've heard from a lot of our customers that there's still ongoing challenges to truly scale this up at a global level to thousands of users being implemented. So at Lenovo, we take a real holistic approach to looking at the digital enterprise ecosystem. And so over the last 30 to 40 years, you've seen some of these technologies become just absolute staples that have to be accounted for. Servers, PCs, making them lighter, thinner, faster, the mobility revolution, and of course, cloud computing. But we also look at the emerging technology space that needs to be accounted for to truly garner all the impact of AR. And that includes AI, it includes IoT, edge computing, certainly, of course, augmented and virtual reality, and new forms of security. So looking at this in terms of the lens of the customer, the enterprises that are implementing these solutions. If you look at this graphic, it looks a little confusing, and it's by design, because that's how the ecosystem looks right now. So essentially, when you go into a major corporation that has a dozen different departments, most all of them can find value in augmented and virtual reality. But it's unlikely that any of them are going to have the exact same applications that are needed, the exact same hardware devices that are needed, the same cloud computing that's needed, the security levels. And so it becomes mind-boggling, even from an IT perspective, to manage all the devices and the applications and the users that have access to them. So we really have taken the last couple of years at Lenovo and really tried to understand the market, listen to our customers, and this is what they've been telling us. These are the challenges. And Lenovo's in a very unique position to help solve for that scalability. If you look at some of the technology experience that we've had as a company in AR and VR, it's primarily been driven around our consumer team. We've had some really good wins. We've also had our fair share of challenges, but we've learned a lot. So some of you probably recognize a few of these images up here. The Lenovo Fab 2 Pro device, which was an amazing augmented reality, computer vision-based mobile device. We worked with Google to produce that. Our consumer team also worked on the Mirage Solo with the Daydream team. Now, most of you have probably seen in the press, just in the last 24 hours, that Daydream announced that they're end-of-lifing that product. We learned a lot from it. It's unfortunate because the device is really nice. But don't fear, we have some really exciting announcements in the virtual reality space in the coming months. Also, if you look at this image up here, the Star Wars Jedi Challenge device was created with Disney, incorporating mobile devices into an AR headset for gaming. And then most recently, we worked with the Oculus team to co-design and we produced the Oculus Rift S. So there's been a lot of learning experience over the past several years at Lenovo, and we looked at that and said, how do we, in the enterprise space, leverage our strengths and our knowledge? And so we're number one in commercial PCs by market share globally, primarily known through our ThinkPad. We operate in over 160 countries, and last year we delivered 100 million connected devices. So Lenovo knows a thing or two about delivering enterprise technology solutions. And we have some experience in the AR and VR ecosystem. So what I'm really excited to talk about is ThinkReality. We announced ThinkReality back in May at AWE in Santa Clara, California. And it's really a solutions-based approach to solving for scalable AR and VR. If we look at the bare essentials of this, it really is comprised of a scalable software platform that allows companies to build, manage, and deploy AR and VR solutions and devices. It consists of a suite of modern hardware. The first we announced is our ThinkReality A6. It's a fully featured AR headset. And then finally, that's backed up by expert services, consisting of professional services and consulting, and of course, premier customer support. We have a short video that I'm going to play. It gives you a little glimpse of what ThinkReality is. Thank you. So we'll talk a little bit about ThinkReality. It's been designed as a scalable platform. So we're trying to create some more organization out of the chaos of delivering a scalable solution in enterprise. It's designed to help companies build, deploy, and manage the AR and VR applications and devices. And so truly designed for enterprise-wide efficiency, increasing and accelerating your time to market, and overall, then delivering significant resource savings. So we'll dive in a little bit deeper into the platform. It consists of a development portal. You're able to go in, leverage a Unity plugin to build applications. It consists of the ThinkReality software development kit, workflow builders. We have cloud and on-device services. You have the ability to integrate other third-party database management systems, and microservices. We're building a suite of microservices that become the building blocks of building applications. Enterprises can actually go in and build their own microservices that other departments in their organization can use to more quickly build versions of applications and distribute them efficiently. We also heard from our customers that they want user, device, and application management built into one solution. So we have that. If you're using a third-party MDM solution, you can also leverage that and integrate it into ThinkReality, but it comes with this MDM solution as well. And then finally, the Lenovo Services. This consists of professional services, warranty, and premier customer support, things that we're known for already with our ThinkPad. A couple of things I wanted to point out. We have a cloud portal, and so that allows you to go in, look at a dashboard of all your applications, all your users, manage those, manage groups, and then of course there's a development portal as well. We've also designed this to be an agnostic platform. That means that depending upon your organization, you might have multiple cloud solutions that you're using. You might have on-premise as well. ThinkReality can work with that. And surprising to a lot of people is we've designed this to be device agnostic. So while we're coming to market with our own suite of hardware to try to fill some of the gaps that exist, we also know and respect a lot of the great devices that are out there in the market today. And we are also working on a supported device program with multiple different hardware vendors so that when you build on the ThinkReality SDK, you can know with confidence that you'll be able to deliver and port that onto another device and so that the user interface works appropriately with that. So we'll be announcing in the future some of the supported device partners that we're working with. I'm also excited to announce that we are announcing a developer program. We know that supporting developers is really critical to the success of all this. And so that's going to consist of key things like a developer portal. We're going to launch very soon a developer forum, a knowledge base, and even workshops, which will consist of digital online training programs and also on-site face-to-face workshops. I wanted to call out, we're soft launching our developer workshop at the VR AR Global Summit in Vancouver on November 1st. If any of you are planning to attend or think you might be a good fit, I've actually included our developer program manager's email here. So I think there's some spaces up here, and if you want to email him, feel free to, and we'll see if it makes sense for you to get involved. Now, in addition to the software, we've talked about hardware. And so our ThinkReality A6, we're really excited about this. There's going to be a breakout session run by Matney Beck, our senior product manager, later today, that is going to go into a deep dive, but we've already won several awards, design awards for this device. And if I could highlight just a few of the key highlights here, it consists of 2 fisheye cameras, a depth sensor for spatial mapping, a 13 megapixel RGB camera for video and object recognition, 1080p per eye, 40-degree field of view, and integrated microphones. Now, it comes in at a weight of 380 grams, making it one of the lightest weight, fully featured AR headsets on the market. We're able to do that by leveraging an external compute box. One of the things that's unique about this is that it has a removable battery. And we listened to our customers, and they said, hey, we want flexibility. We want the device to be more productive. And so now you can leverage and swap out a new compute box depending upon the user, or even just swap out the battery. We know that we can't do this all on our own, so we know that there's an ecosystem that we have to work within. And so within the ThinkReality environment, we're working with some of the world's best systems integrators, ISVs, and content creators. As I mentioned, we're working with third-party device manufacturers. And we're also incorporating some of the best software tools that already exist out in the market so that you can plug those in and integrate those into your solution, and you don't have to abandon any of those investments that you've already made. Kind of just talking a little bit about where we are today. We announced the ThinkReality platform in May. We're now piloting with dozens of global Fortune 500 companies. We're learning from that. We're optimizing the solution. And we just in the last few weeks started shipping a limited release of the A6 devices to some of these early piloting customers. We have not yet announced the pricing and general availability, but that's coming soon. But we are distributing this now in North America, in EMEA, in Asia Pacific, and China. So in conclusion, enterprise transformation is definitely here. We know that AR is going to be a big part of it. We know that AR can help solve for some of those skilled workforce gaps that are out there today. But most importantly, we know that we need to move beyond just testing those proven ROIs and scaling it. And so the team at Lenovo and our team on ThinkReality, that is our ultimate focus, is to help companies and global enterprises scale these solutions. So I'd invite you to come by our booth today, check out some demos, talk to some of our team, and we'd be happy to work with you, whether you're an enterprise customer or a partner. So thanks for having me today.